So after the last video breaking down in detail why Piccolo and Gohan's relationship isn't as cute and pure as everyone will have you believe, I'm surprised my channel hasn't burned to the ground. So let's try again! As I'm sure many of you are aware, I am a Gochi fangirl, as Gochi is my OTP, one true pairing for you fanboys out there who don't know what the fangirl lingo is. Which, as what is being shown to be somewhat of a requirement to be a part of the Gochi fandom, means I'm constantly questioned and harassed about this one specific interview answer over and over. I'm sure you all know the one. And with myself being as argumentative as I am, I have poked at this interview even though originally my response was to flat out ignore it due to my principle of death of the author, telling me that it doesn't matter. If you can't use the original 42 volumes of the series to prove your point, then you don't have a point to prove. So why am I bothering with this interview? The same reason I made awful arguments aren't awesome. Because I can't stand dumb logic. Even if I agree with the point you are trying to make, if I don't like your logic, I will call you out on it. It's why I find myself discussing the latest Dragon Ball Super arc even though I'm not watching it, because I see the discussions happening around me and find logic that doesn't sit right with me, so I poke at that while being basically Switzerland. Neutral as hell. If your logic is dumb, then I won't like it, and I won't like you, because I don't like dumb logic. Because dumb logic is annoying. Anyways, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Aren't you biased in trying to say that this interview is biased? Which is good. Question me and question my credibility. Don't ever be a zombie blindly listening to your senpais. We have enough of that in this fandom and in politics, so I'd rather I not inadvertently contribute to it in any way. However, I feel the need to point out that death of the author means that I would have no need to break it down if I was only breaking down this interview and its credibility because I didn't want to accept it as reality. If I wasn't a strong supporter of Death of the Author and all things that I do, keeping it as commandment number 1 of Kairi Yajuu analysis, then you would have a point, but because it doesn't matter to me whether or not this interview is biased, I still wouldn't accept it, then you don't. Which raises the question again, so why am I bothering with this interview? The same reason I made awful arguments aren't awesome, because I can't stand dumb logic. We following me yet? I'm sick of seeing this used against the people who don't agree with Death of the Author, as if Toriyama made some official statement that Goku can't understand the concept of love because he's a Saiyan, because 1, he didn't say that, see also, awful arguments aren't awesome, and 2, the question was leading as pecan. Looking at an interview as a source means looking at the whole interview, not just the answers, but also the questions. Why do we look at the questions? Because depending on how we word our questions, we might give different answers. Looking at this entire interview, it's clear that the interviewer is a huge big-time fan of Vegeta. My sources tell me that he's the same guy who wrote the first draft of Battle of Gods that did not include Goku at all and had Vegeta as the main hero, and who is also a main scriptwriter of DBS, but I can't find any proof of that, so only take that information with a grain of salt, though all the same, I wouldn't doubt it. That's not to say he's not a big-time fan of Vegeta and that he wouldn't want to see Vegeta as the main hero, as Toriyama even noticed that much all on his own, so keep that bias in mind. Looking at just the question in question by itself, we can see that, oh yeah, it's leading. He's practically on his knees begging Toriyama to say the words, Vegeta is better and smarter than that stupid Kakarot character that's one-dimensional and a joke. What is a leading question exactly? A leading question is a question which subtly prompts the respondent to answer in a particular way. Leading questions are generally undesirable as they result in false or slanted information. For example, do you have any problems with your boss? ChangingMinds.org separates them by type. Ask for agreement is the type we're dealing with here. A very direct leading question is where they are closed questions that clearly ask for agreement, making it easier for the other person to say yes, then no. Let's look at this interview again. Since Saiyans are supposed to have a no affection for family or friends, does this actually make Vegeta, who holds his family and wife dear, an even stranger, kinder Saiyan than Goku? Look at that hot mess of a question right there. Not only is it asking for agreement, it's also an assumptive question which you can read all about in the link. That interviewer assumed that Vegeta holds family closer than Goku and then used that to lead Toriyama into a situation where saying, yes, Vegeta is a kinder Saiyan than Goku would be easier than saying, no, you're wrong about the characters. Toriyama is too nice, too shy, and too Japanese to just shut down somebody who is clearly a big-time fan of the series. So in all honesty, the fact that he gave the answer he did, which didn't actually put Goku down at all in order to discuss Vegeta's character, is a big thumbs up that the interviewer was kinda wrong at least a little bit. Thank you and good night. Bring on the fire and bring on the flame. Set everything ablaze so not a single trace remains. Bring on the fire and bring on the flame. Set everything ablaze so no trace remains.